The 9 commissioners were asked to take a bow and go after they made a brief introduction of themselves. Speaker Martin Amehule asked the House clerk to forward the names of the commissioner designates to the governor for action. Correspondent Bureauware reports that Mr. Amehule also said Governor Siminalayi Fubara had sent a letter requesting the screening of the 9 commissioners. The 9 commissioner designates are Professor Zacchaeus Ango, Jacob Simbina, Gift Nwolo Inime Agoma, Chukwuemeka Nwoke. Others are Chinedu Mmom, George Kelly Alabo, Isaac Kamalo, and Austin Ben Chioma. The commissioners, who are loyal to former Governor Nyesom Wike, had resigned from the State Executive Council in the heat of a political crisis between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the FCT minister. Earlier, human rights advocate Henry Ekene joined to insist that the action of the Martin Amehule-led assembly are invalid. Mr. Ekene tells our correspondent that the lawmakers stopped being members of the House the day they decamped to another party.
Martin Amehule and his 26 friends haven't ceased to be members of the River State House of Assembly. That's a fact. So they have no constitutional power to act in any way or usurp the powers of the River State House of Assembly. As a matter of fact, they are impersonating the River State House of Assembly and all have been arrested and, of course, prosecuted. So we do not accept that procedure.
The lawyer also faulted the state governor for submitting the names of the resigned commissioners to the Martin Amehule-led Rivers Assembly for rescreening.
Agrees that the governor has these powers, that is pursuant to section 192 and 193, to appoint commissioners and then to assign responsibilities to them. But he has no power to submit such names of commissioners to persons who are not members of the River State House of Assembly. So the governor has erred in submitting names of nominated commissioners to Martin Amehule and his 26 friends who are not members of the River State House of Assembly.
Last week, the Martin Amehule-led assembly invited the 9 resigned commissioners for screening and confirmation as commissioners in line with the 8-point resolution signed by Governor Fubara, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, and some others. The resolution was reached when President Bola Tinubu waded into the political crisis in the state. The peace agreement included the reappointment of the commissioners who resigned following the crisis. Meanwhile, Governor Fubara has dismissed insinuations that the appointment of the 16 new permanent secretaries has a political undertone. Governor Fubara said this during the swearing-in ceremony of the permanent secretaries at the Government House on Tuesday.
Your responsibilities as permanent secretary is so much. So it's not just being lucky to be among the ones that are chosen to be permanent secretary at this very critical time of our government, but living up to it, knowing that it is not just an appointment that after 2 or 3 months your faces will start changing. So my major charge today will be see this appointment as a call to duty. It is not a position that you earn politically. As a matter of fact, you were not picked based on political grounds.
The governor explained why he appointed the permanent secretaries.
We have a lot of ministries that are not manned by adequate authorities for a while now. And that is the reason why we had to appoint these numbers, so that all the ministries will have a head, pending when we might also have your political head. You are the administrative heads. So we're doing this because we want to chart a proper course for this government. We can't achieve those things while we sit here alone. It can only be done when there are capable lieutenants, and you are those lieutenants. I want to urge you all, don't be political. Stand your ground. I will always stand for the right thing.
Reacting to this, political analyst Liberus Oshoma believes the appointment of the permanent secretaries is another way for Governor Fubara to checkmate the loyalists of former Governor Wike, who are set to be reappointed as commissioners. Mr. Oshoma spoke to correspondent Bureauware on this.
The permanent secretaries are the statutory head of the ministry, but why the commissioners are the administrative heads, the eye of the governor, the mouth of the governor. So a situation where you have commissioners who are not in words and indeed the mouthpiece of the governor in those areas, knowing fully well where their loyalty lies, the governor would want to have permanent secretaries who will indeed be able to checkmate those commissioners who are supposedly representing him but not representing him in actual sense. What we see is the preparation for the forthcoming election where everybody, we consolidate on their end.
But another pundit, Joel Prince, thinks otherwise.
I do not see any political coloration to the appointments the governor just made, and this is what we have always known the civil service for. If you notice, almost all the local government areas are represented in that appointment. This has always been the practice from time immemorial, but in the last administration, it was politicized. The appointment of permanent secretaries was purely political. Some of those who have retired were given contracts, thereby denying those already in service the opportunity to grow in the system.
Moving on, some traders protested at the government house on Tuesday over the planned use of a ballot to reallocate shops in Mile 1 Market, Port Harcourt. Recall that the Mile 1 Market, Rumuoji Phase 2, has remained closed since a fire in 2013. The weak administration rebuilt it in 2019, but court action from Traders Union has delayed the allocation of shops at the market. Governor Fubara recently assured that the market will be reopened for use before the end of January 2024. Wielding placards with different inscriptions on Tuesday, some of the protesters told our correspondent that the shops should be returned to their original owners. The leaders of the protesters, Princess Georgewell, said they want the governor to know that the right owners of the shops are still alive.
Let it come to our end that we are suffering. To give all that shit, if you can put pepper in the table, you can eat without begging. So we are begging you. I lost that shit 2013, 17 December. That was when the shit got born. Everything I have, I didn't pick one out of it. Since then, I've not been doing anything. My husband died on the 16th December 2016. Till now, I'm in the house. Nothing. Somebody dash me and eat.
Away from that, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says over 20 schools You're welcome back, and now there are news. In business, stakeholders in the oil and gas sector says the registration of 7 major marketers with Dangote Refinery to distribute fuel will impact the distribution chain. Zonal Chairman of Nupeng, Godwill Aroba, told our correspondent Sebiorware that the movement will accommodate more marketers. Energy Martin at the University of Nation, Dr. Joseph Bele, urged Dangote to direct monopoly.
Is for the most with the business the impact of distribution at the downstream effect via reputation occasioned by independent market.
In entertainment, Irish actor and now in sports. Friend Club Olympique Lyonnais are very of on and
now we're bringing you swell.
Least killed a plane of 0.9 billion at the end of 2023. A 2.08 million decrease from 2022. The most recent decline is double that of the previous year, which marked the first population drop in 60 years. Before we go, let's have the major stories. The Martin Literate Assembly has confirmed designed commissioners today amid controversy. Traders protested at the River State Government House on Tuesday. Edited by Constance Mega. To reach the news team, send a